Oh man.
She's on. Okay, cool. All right. Car stars and everything in between. Why is that so close? I don't like it.
Here we go. We're live.
What's the name of this show?
Yeah, black and gold banner. Bazzy's black and gold banner. We're live. We're ready to go. Here we go.
Let's banter.
Let's banter. You have at it. I assume you want to banter about the offensive coordinator.
But, I hate to be so predictable. I do. I hate to be so predictable. How about if I just say this? There's rumblings of, quarterback change. I saw Mike Tomlin's press conference yesterday. I don't think Mike Tomlin thinks that, we need a quarterback change, or that, maybe he is thinking about it, and, at night when he goes to bed, and he might be weighing that. But I think what he said yesterday was that he's not sure we need significant change.
Yeah,
Right?
he's trying to tell everybody to be patient. I don't know if that's the right way to go about things. I've lost my patience, kind of, and it's largely with the offensive coordinator. It was doomed to fail from the start. He was not qualified to have the job. Someone failed and they hired his assistant. That's the part I don't understand. And that Randy Fichtner failed and they simply elevated the guy behind him.
Yeah, well, I didn't think as a coach, but as a person, wonderful people. But as an offensive coordinator, I didn't think Randy brought much to the table, and I think that even last year. So this is not a new concern. I think that Mike Tomlin last year said that he wasn't ready to make a change and that he wanted to give it the opportunity in the new year. Well, the new year's here, and my statement is, you cannot make a quarterback change at this point unless you're willing to change the offensive coordinator also, because you will have I would make that change simultaneously, and I would be reinvented brand new, because all you will do is, if you just change the quarterback, you're going to have that quarterback. It's going to have to adapt to the style of the offensive coordinator, and I am not down on Mitch Trubisky at this point. I'm just not. I don't know if he's being put in a position to succeed. Do I think but you see, so Kenny Pickett to me is like gunslinger, come in and fire, and I don't think you can do that until you change the coordinator. How do you feel about that?
That's a really interesting thought. That is it fair even to Kenny Pickett to put him in, if you're going to put him in under these confines and under this administration, so to speak?
Nope.
Probably not. Probably
Nope.
not. But I have not been as disappointed in Mitch Trubisky as some other people have. I think he's made a couple of good throws. I think he's used his legs some. And I don't think – and there's a startling revelation not enough people are talking about. This is what, a fifth or sixth year guy who's performed at a decent level, taken the Chicago Bears to the playoffs, and he's not permitted to audible. He's not allowed to check out of plays.
Yeah, do you think that's accurate? I mean, come on.
Well, he wouldn't have said it. I mean, people wouldn't have said it if it wasn't accurate. It's at the very least, he's not able to have full reign over the things that he wants to do. And if he's not able to do that, then who is? It's not a rookie. It's a guy that's a veteran at this point. That to me is startling. It's absurd.
It is startling, and it's without change, all you'll get is what you have, and something has to change. And whether it's who calls the plays, whose schematic it is, and who executes it. And I find it amazing that number 14 is not involved in our game planning.
Yeah, George Pickens is too good to not be a part of it. He's also too good, I think, to run routes simply straight up the field. He's doing what Chase Claypool did last year, which was run up the rail and outside the numbers, and you throw it up and you hope. Hope's not a good game plan, especially with a guy that's that dynamic. So I don't know. The truth could be in the middle somewhere. Maybe he's not picked up the playbook. But let's say that that's true. Let's say he hasn't picked up the playbook and he's still a little bit green and you don't trust him. It doesn't take a lot to simply throw it up to him or get it to him very quickly and have him make some people miss.
Hey, Chase Claypool had 11 touchdowns in his first year.
Oh, I agree with you there. And he had a regression last year.
And
You're
again,
absolutely right.
So when you bring up Chase Claypool, I also am not loving the role they're asking him to fill right now. I'm not loving that. I still think we should have kept Juju.
Hmm.
And for $8 million, we should have kept him. That would have expanded everything for everybody. And I don't. Again, you can't go back and change that. But schematically, I think that Chase. I love Chase Claypool. I really do love him. I love our whole receiver crew. But didn't we sign another one?
I mean, it signed Deontay Johnson. Signed Chase Claypool.
No, but we just signed somebody yesterday, didn't we?
Oh, probably just picked up a practice squad guy, a guy that's interchangeable, nobody that's going to make any difference. But I just think you touch on something that's very interesting. Everybody wants this change, but if you make a change, especially at quarterback, what new are you going to get? Like that's a different way you've spun it that I've not heard this before. It would be, I don't want to say change for change's sake, but you're not overhauling anything. You're going to get the same product with just a different quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to, and honestly, just think of the emotional momentum if you're changing quarterback and coordinator, because, I don't think we should fool ourselves to think, and I saw some of it voiced, but I don't think we should fool ourselves into thinking that the locker room is content with the level of play calling.
I've thought of this. I nailed this, and I got this, and you follow me on this. So Pat Freiermuth came out and he said things that he didn't like. He thought that they could go hurry up a little bit more. And I think I've texted you about this a little bit. So Pat Freiermuth said that. And Deontay Johnson said, hey, man, we function pretty good whenever we are in hurry up offense and in no huddle. And you had some other people say that. So think about this. A horde of people come in that locker room and they stick microphones in front of people and cameras and everything else. And those guys have time to think, and that's what they say, and that's what they disseminate publicly. If they are comfortable, especially a guy like Freiermuth, who's that young, saying that stuff publicly, can you imagine what they're saying privately about Matt Canada?
Oh, yeah, they're throwing their helmets probably.
As they're walking to their car, in their text chain that they have amongst each other, just in a moment after practice, just standing on the practice field. If they're willing to look at Bob Pompiani or willing to look at somebody from the fan and willing to talk into a microphone and say, hey, this play calling, I'd like to – if they say that and know that the microphone's on, imagine how they're hammering this guy privately. There's no trust. It's gone. It's over. The players don't respect the guy.
Even Snoop Dogg weighed in.
Yeah, right.
Was that funny?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But I think it's irreconcilable. I don't think you can get it back.
We've had this problem with the offensive coordinator. How long was Fichtner there? 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
So he was 2 years. Canada's 2 years. So that's a 4-year problem. And, I still think that we underperformed even with Ben. Even the playoff game, there's something that's not right systemically, in my opinion. And I believe it lies at the feet of the offensive coordinator for 4 years.
Are you starting to, because I've warmed to this, maybe revert back to, and not eat your words, but I've started to think if maybe I should a little bit and say some of the stuff I blamed on Ben, maybe Ben is exonerated just a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I
thought that too. Because, we heard the stories. Why are you throwing underneath on a, 3rd and 2? Why are you throwing the ball 5 yards behind the line? It's because Ben's arm. Not sure I'm buying that. At
the time it was go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please, you go first.
At the time it was okay. It was fashionable. It was the common thought. Well, Ben's arm isn't strong enough, or Ben can't use the middle of the field, or Ben's yards per reception and yards per throw and yards per attempt, I should say, is 5 yards. Come on, anybody could do that. And Ben tried to sell us at the time, hey, I just do what I'm told. I got coaches too. And we didn't really want to believe that. I didn't want to believe that. And I'm thinking, he's Ben Roethlisberger. Come on. He's Super Bowl winning. And now maybe all that was a lot closer to being true than people thought.
I'm certainly inspires the question. I ask it of myself because I was vocal about it also. But you cannot dispute these facts. You cannot dispute the fact that this offense looks exactly like last year's offense and no different. And my other really big, I hate the word disappointment, but it is Najee. I mean, I look at guys like Aaron Jones from Green Bay, and that man's feet don't stop. If he's stopped, he's not stopped. If we have a bad offensive line, it doesn't matter. He'd still run. We talked about Najee, and Najee talked about Najee being a 3-down back. Hey, I can do it all. I'm everything. And then we talk about seeing Najee come in all pumped up, but talking about needing somebody to back him up. And I wonder. I guess I haven't seen Najee Harris put his head down and drive a pile. I haven't seen that.
It doesn't move backwards. Nobody on the defense goes backwards when he runs the football.
No.
And I've seen Jaylen Warren make it go backwards.
Yeah. I mean, I have to.
At the very least, I think this. And I think this is a fair statement, or at least a fair discussion at this point. You have to wonder if maybe Najee Harris is very good, but you have to wonder if he was worth taking where they took him and it wasn't more suitable for this franchise long-term health to take an offensive lineman there. If you could have got what you're getting out of Najee Harris right now in a second, third, or fourth round draft pick.
I didn't agree with you at the time because that's not what you said. You said what you said today, you said a year ago.
Right.
And I didn't agree with you.
I never would take a running back in the first round because I do think that their skill sets are so close together that it's almost interchangeable. But offensive linemen, one from the first round and one from the second round, is the disparity is so wide how good those guys are comparatively.
But I thought Najee was the exception. I thought that he could be that guy. And hey, he still can, right? I mean, this is banter. This is feelings more than facts.
Right.
But based on facts. So he could still be that guy. I guess, week 2, that's what we have to talk about. Going into Cleveland, and for those of you that see this before Thursday night, you will also see it after Thursday night. So we will know what happened in Cleveland.
Right.
However, Cleveland's running backs scare me.
Well, I think they scare the whole league, but do they have the complementary passing game to really do anything and hurt you? Are they one-dimensional too much?
Who's the quarterback?
Jacoby Brissett.
From
Indianapolis.
Jacoby. Yeah. I like Jacoby. And I think this is a formidable team that could really give us problems. Is Devin back?
Devin Bush he practiced the first couple days this week. He should be back. He hasn't been, I guess the best way to put it is he hasn't been the gigantic solution, but he hasn't been a problem yet this year.
No, he hasn't hurt us, I don't think. And I think he's certainly playing above a level that he played last year. But, anything to disrupt the momentum. I was hoping that he would be back in time to at least give us the continuity that everybody's familiar with each other. Minkah Fitzpatrick's playing lights out. And I think I noticed about Minkah that maybe somebody said in so many words, just go out there and beat Troy Polamalu.
Right.
Just go out there and be everywhere. And because it looks like that's what he's doing.
Try this one on about the defense that here's still something, and it carries into the next game as well. But so the defense lights up at the very end of the game, 6 minutes, 31 seconds of a drive in which they can't get off the field. But they only gave up 17 points. I look at it and I say, they only gave up 17 points. It's hard for me to find any fault in the defense, even giving up that long drive at the end whenever you only gave up 17 points.
Yeah, there should have been we should be able to score enough points to cover 17.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with the defense. I think the defense, in spite of losing TJ, I thought they did a pretty fair job, especially with Master Belichick conducting his game plan. He's a pretty smart guy, and I like his son. I like his son with the plays. So keeping them to 17 points, I thought was a pretty good job. And there's no reason in this world that offense, with the people we have, can't score more than 17 points.
If you take the individual talent on this team, they should walk out. They should score 17 and a half. If you really look at it. I mean, it's incredible.
That's what
do they win? Do they win on Thursday?
No.
Wow. Close or not?
Well, let me say this. Here's what I say. I might change that. It might take a quarterback change to change the momentum. And if they're playing poorly, I say they make a quarterback change, and then they make an offensive coordinator change after the game, because they're going to have 10 days before their next game?
Right.
11 days. And maybe they just ride it out. But I think tomorrow is a pivotal game for position coach. I think it's a pivotal game for quarterback and the rest of the offense. I think that I don't see Mike Tomlin. Look, right now, if we make changes, we can fix it. We can pull a great season from it. We can fix it. If we continue to wait for some miracle to happen, for Matt Canada to be different than he is, he's not going to change. He has a certain style, and it might work for somebody else. But we are explosive. We have the ability to be explosive, as we did last year. And it's just not happening.
I've seen football a long time and been around it. I can't remember this big of a crossroad game in week 3.
Yes.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game, you say, what's everybody talking about? They're 2-0 in the division. They got the Jets coming in. Come on, it's another AFC game they should win. If they lose, it feels like the end of the world, and the season's over.
It will be. It won't be. It won't be the season over unless they don't make a change. If they make the changes that they knew, I know. I know. I mean, just because Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches ever, you have to know that he's thinking these things. He doesn't mean he's going to do them, but you have to have all those options. He must have those options ready. He must, in his own mind, know the trigger point for him. He's going to be ultimately the only one that makes that call. And I know he's already got a plan as to when and if he does make that call.
I think they're going to win 20-19.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, I think they'll win by a point.
Wow. Well, I'm going to stay away from the score.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland scares me. Cleveland could be that team that scares me a lot. Cincinnati didn't worry me. I continue to say Burrow's one and done.
Big news with Joe Burrow today. No more Instagram, no more Twitter. He's off social media. He doesn't want the heat. He's done.
Really?
Yes. Finished, he said. He told everybody on social media he's done with social media.
Why?
It's just too much. Too much of a distraction. I.e., they started 0-2, and he's got too many detractors.
Oh, well, good. Oh, that's the first mature thing I've seen from him.
He's done.
That's great.
So he won't see this.
You can understand that, right? You do get caught up in it.
You can. The best thing to do is just simply disseminate and just disseminate and walk away.
Yeah, good point. Really good point. Well, Joe, I wish you the best. Colin, I don't know what else to say other than let's just keep our fingers crossed and monitor it.
20-19 Steelers.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, Richard.
Don't go away. I want to talk to you.